My dad brought his mistress to my wedding. My mom found out during the ceremony. Then the mistress announced he promised to leave mom that day. The wedding paused as my entire family exploded. Posted in r/wedding shaming. I'm writing this from my honeymoon suite, except there's no honeymoon happening. My new husband is asleep after emotionally exhausting himself trying to comfort me. I'm wide awake at 4 a.m., replaying the absolute dumpster fire that was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. I need to get this out before I lose my mind. I'm 28F. Just got married yesterday to my amazing husband, James, 30M. We've been together for 5 years, and despite everything that happened, I'm glad I married him. He's the only person who came out of yesterday looking like a decent human being. This story is about my father, Robert, 56M, my mother, Diana, 54F, and the woman who nuked my entire wedding from orbit, my father's mistress, Vanessa, 34F. I need to give you some background to understand how truly insane this situation is. My parents have been married for 32 years. They've always seemed solid, not super romantic or anything, but stable. Good partners. They built a successful life together. Dad's a surgeon, mom's a real estate agent. They have a beautiful home, travel together, have the same friend group. I have a younger brother, Eric, 24M, who's in medical school. We were, by all accounts, a normal upper-middle-class family. I've always been closer to my mom. She's warm, funny, supportive. Dad was more distant, not neglectful, just busy. Always working, always at the hospital. Mom used to joke that she was a hospital widow, but she said it with affection. She seemed proud of his dedication to his patients. When James proposed last year, both my parents seemed thrilled. Mom immediately dove into wedding planning with me. Dad was less involved but supportive. He'd review budgets, write checks, give opinions when asked. Standard dad stuff. The wedding planning process took about a year. It was mostly smooth. Mom and I had a few disagreements about details, but nothing major. Dad showed up to the important meetings, venue selection, menu tasting, that kind of thing. He seemed happy for me, proud even. About 3 months ago, Dad asked if he could bring a +1 to the wedding. I was confused. A +1? You're married to Mom. She's your +1. He laughed it off. No, I mean in addition to your mother. A colleague from the hospital. She's new to the area, doesn't know many people, and I thought it would be nice to include her in a happy occasion. I was uncomfortable but didn't want to make waves. I guess? What's her name? I need it for the seating chart. Vanessa Clark. She's a surgical nurse. Just moved here from California. I added her to the list and didn't think much of it. Dad had brought colleagues to events before. Mom had met some of them. It seemed innocent enough. Then, about a month ago, my Aunt Linda, Mom's sister, pulled me aside at my bridal shower. She looked nervous. Honey, I need to tell you something, and you're not going to like it. My stomach dropped. What? I saw your father last week, having dinner with a young woman. They were holding hands across the table. When he saw me, he dropped her hand immediately and pretended they were just colleagues discussing a case. But I know what I saw. I felt sick. Are you sure? Positive. I didn't say anything at the time because I didn't want to cause a scene. But I think your mother should know. Did you tell her? No. I wasn't sure if I should. What if I'm wrong? What if it was innocent and I blow up their marriage over nothing? I made her promise not to say anything until after the wedding. I know, that was stupid. But I was a month out from my wedding, drowning in final details, and I couldn't handle a family implosion right then. I told myself I'd deal with it after the honeymoon. I did some digging, though. Checked Dad's social media, which he barely used. Nothing suspicious. Asked Mom casually if Dad had mentioned any new colleagues. She said yes, actually, he'd mentioned a new nurse named Vanessa who was very competent. Mom seemed completely unbothered. I convinced myself Aunt Linda had misread the situation. Vanessa was probably just a friend. The hand-holding was probably innocent, like a mentorship thing. I was in denial, basically. Fast forward to yesterday. My wedding day. The morning was perfect. Hair and makeup went smoothly. My bridesmaids were wonderful. Mom cried when she saw me in my dress. She kept saying how beautiful I looked, how proud she was, how happy she was that I'd found James. We took photos, laughed, drank champagne. It was everything I'd dreamed of. Dad showed up at the venue early to take father-daughter photos. He seemed nervous, distracted. I chalked it up to normal wedding day emotions. We took our photos, and he told me he loved me and was proud of the woman I'd become. I teared up. Felt like a real moment between us. Then guests started arriving. I was in the bridal suite when my bridesmaid, Kelly, came running in, looking panicked. There's a situation. What kind of situation? Your dad just arrived with a woman who is not your mom, and she's dressed like she's the mother of the bride. My blood went cold. What? She's wearing a floor-length gown, hair done professionally, full jewelry, and she's hanging on your dad's arm like they're the married couple. Your mom is already here in the family room and someone's going to notice. I ran out in my wedding dress, bridesmaids scrambling after me. I found my dad in the lobby with Vanessa, and Kelly was right. She was dressed to the nines. Champagne-colored gown, elaborate updo, diamond jewelry. She looked like she was attending a gala, not as a random plus one. Dad, what the hell? He had the decency to look uncomfortable. Sweetheart, this is Vanessa. I know who she is. Why is she dressed like that? Vanessa smiled at me, completely unbothered. Your father said it was a formal wedding. I wanted to look appropriate. There's appropriate and then there's... I gestured at her entire situation. This looks like you think you're family. Well, she said, glancing at my dad with this knowing smile. I will be soon. I felt like I'd been slapped. Excuse me? Dad's face went pale. Vanessa, not now. What does that mean? I demanded. Nothing, Dad said quickly. She's joking. Let's get you back to the bridal suite. I wasn't joking, Vanessa said, and I could hear an edge in her voice now. Robert, you said today was the day. You said after the ceremony you were going to tell Diana that this wedding was the perfect moment for a new beginning. Couldn't breathe. Dad, tell me she's lying. He couldn't look at me. Sweetheart, this isn't the time. You're having an affair. It's complicated. You brought your mistress to my wedding and told her you'd leave Mom today? People were starting to stare. My bridesmaids had caught up and were standing behind me like a support wall. I could see my brother Eric in the distance, noticing the commotion and heading our way. Vanessa, apparently realizing this wasn't going according to plan, tried to backtrack. Look, I don't want to ruin your special day. Robert and I can discuss this later. You've already ruined it. You're wearing a ball gown to my wedding because my dad told you he was leaving my mom. How is this not ruined? That's when Mom appeared. She'd heard my raised voice and came to check on me. She was radiant in her mother of the bride dress, smiling, completely oblivious. When she saw me confronting Dad and noticed Vanessa, her smile faltered. What's going on? Nobody spoke. Vanessa stepped slightly behind my dad. Dad looked like he wanted to evaporate. I was shaking with rage and panic. Diana, Dad started. Mom looked at Vanessa, then at Dad, then at me. I watched understanding dawn on her face in real time. Her expression went from confused to horrified to absolutely shattered. Who is this? Her voice was barely a whisper. This is Vanessa, Dad said. From the hospital. Mom looked at Vanessa's dress, the way she'd been standing close to my dad, the guilty expression on his face. She's not stupid. You don't stay married for 32 years without being able to read your spouse. You're sleeping with her. It wasn't a question. Diana, please, let's talk about this privately. At our daughter's wedding? Mom's voice rose. You brought your mistress to our daughter's wedding? People were definitely staring now. My brother Eric had reached us, along with my uncle Peter, Dad's brother. My bridesmaids were trying to shield us from view, but it wasn't working. Vanessa, incredibly, chose this moment to speak up. Diana, I'm sorry you're finding out this way. Robert and I have been trying to find the right time to tell you. Don't you dare speak to me, Mom hissed. You don't get to sorry your way through this, you home-wrecking. Mom! I grabbed her arm. Not here. Please. We have 200 guests arriving. The ceremony starts in 30 minutes. Mom looked at me, and her eyes filled with tears. I can't do this. I can't stand up there and pretend. You don't have to, I said, even though my heart was breaking. Just give me a minute to figure this out. I turned to my dad. You need to make her leave. Right now. Emma. She's already here. I don't care. She leaves or I'm canceling the entire wedding. Your choice. Vanessa looked offended. You can't be serious. I took the day off work. I got dressed. You told my dad to leave my mom at my wedding. I was screaming now. I didn't care who heard. Get out before I have security throw you out. Robert. Vanessa turned to my dad, expecting him to defend her. And here's the thing that kills me, he hesitated. My dad, who'd apparently been planning to leave my mom for this woman, actually hesitated. Like he was weighing his options. His devastated wife of 32 years, his daughter's ruined wedding, and his mistress's hurt feelings were all equally weighted in his mind. Eric stepped forward. Dad, if you don't make her leave right now, I'm done with you. Forever. That seemed to snap Dad out of it. He turned to Vanessa. You should go. Are you serious? After everything you promised me, this isn't the right time. You said today was the day. You said we'd tell her together and start our life. You said the wedding would be a distraction, that it would be easy. Mom made a sound like she'd been punched. The idea that Dad had planned this, had strategized using my wedding as cover for his betrayal, it was too much. You planned this, Mom said softly. You've been planning this. Dad couldn't even deny it. Diana. How long? Silence. How long, Robert? 8 months, Vanessa answered. She'd apparently given up on salvaging the situation and decided to burn it all down. We've been together 8 months. He told me his marriage was dead. He told me you two barely even spoke anymore, that you were basically roommates. He said he was waiting for the right time to leave. Mom turned to Dad. Is that true? Did you tell her our marriage was dead? You don't understand the context. Is it true? I've been unhappy, Diana, for years. I didn't know how to tell you. Mom slapped him, right across the face in front of everyone. The sound echoed in the lobby. Several guests who'd been pretending not to watch gasped audibly. You've been unhappy? Mom's voice was shaking. So instead of talking to me, your wife of 32 years, you started screwing a woman young enough to be your daughter? And then you brought her to our child's wedding. I didn't mean for it to happen this way. What way did you mean for it to happen? Were you going to wait until after the father-daughter dance? During the cake cutting? When exactly was the right time to destroy our family? The wedding coordinator appeared, looking frantic. We need to start seating guests. The ceremony is supposed to start in 20 minutes. Everyone looked at me. My wedding. My decision. I looked at my mom, tears streaming down her face, her whole world shattered. I looked at my dad, who couldn't even meet my eyes. I looked at Vanessa, who had the audacity to look annoyed that her plan hadn't worked out. And I looked at James, who'd appeared during the chaos and was standing nearby, looking at me with such concern and love. Call the officiant, I said to the coordinator. Tell him we need to delay 30 minutes. Tell the guests. Tell them there's been a family emergency and we'll start as soon as possible. I turned to my dad. Get her out of here, now. And then you're going to sit in a room by yourself and think about what you've done. You don't get to walk me down the aisle. Eric will do it. Emma, please. You don't get to talk. You lost that privilege the moment you decided to use my wedding as a divorce announcement platform. Uncle Peter, can you escort Dad and his guests to separate rooms? Make sure they don't leave but keep them away from everyone else. My uncle nodded and took my dad's arm. Another groomsman escorted Vanessa, who kept protesting until he threatened to literally carry her out. I took Mom's hands. Are you okay? She laughed, but it came out as a sob. No, but that's not your problem right now. This is your wedding day. Do you want to leave? I'll understand if you can't stay. Absolutely not. I am not letting that woman ruin my daughter's wedding any more than she already has. I'm going to fix my makeup, put on a smile, and walk out there with my head held high. And then I'm going to find the best divorce attorney in the state. She hugged me tightly. I'm so sorry, baby. I'm so sorry this happened on your day. It's not your fault. I know, but I'm still sorry. She went with my bridesmaids to fix her makeup. I stood there in my wedding dress, surrounded by chaos, trying to process what had just happened. James came over and wrapped his arms around me. Hey, we can postpone. Push it back a week, a month. Whatever you need. I thought about it. Really considered it. But then I thought, why? Why should my dad's betrayal stop me from marrying the man I love? Why should his mistress's drama prevent me from having my moment? No, I said. We're doing this. We're getting married today. My dad doesn't get to take this away from me. Are you sure? Positive. But I need you to do something for me. Anything. Don't let me kill him before we say our vows. He laughed, and somehow that made everything slightly better. We delayed the ceremony by 45 minutes total. During that time, the groomsmen spread word to the guests that there'd been a family situation, but everything was fine now. People were definitely gossiping. You can't have a screaming match in a wedding venue lobby without people noticing, but we didn't confirm anything. Mom emerged with perfect makeup, looking fierce and composed. Eric agreed to walk me down the aisle. Dad was locked in a conference room with Uncle Peter standing guard. Vanessa had been escorted to her car, and we'd made it clear that if she came back, we'd call the police. The ceremony finally started. I walked down the aisle with my brother, who squeezed my hand and whispered, "You look beautiful, and Dad's an idiot." I focused on James at the altar. His eyes got teary when he saw me. That's what mattered. Not the drama, not the betrayal, not the missing father of the bride. Just me and James and the life we were building together. The ceremony was beautiful. The officiant had no idea what had happened and delivered his prepared remarks about love and commitment. I barely heard them. I was too busy trying not to cry, and not happy tears. During the vows, I glanced at Mom. She was sitting in the front row, chin up, tears streaming down her face. My Aunt Linda was next to her, holding her hand. In that moment, I was so grateful for my mom's strength. She could have caused a scene, could have left, could have fallen apart. Instead, she stayed for me. James and I exchanged our vows and rings. We kissed. People applauded. And for a moment, it felt almost normal. Like maybe we could salvage this day after all. Then came the reception. We did photos, which felt bizarre without my father. The photographer kept asking where he was, and we kept deflecting. Eric stood in for the father-daughter shots. It was weird, but we made it work. During cocktail hour, my dad tried to approach me. Uncle Peter had apparently let him out of confinement. "Emma, sweetheart, can we talk?" "No, please. I need to explain." "There's nothing to explain, Dad. You cheated on Mom. You brought your mistress to my wedding. You planned to leave Mom today at my wedding because you thought it would be easier for you. You're selfish and cruel, and I don't want to talk to you. I never meant to hurt you. But you did. You hurt me. You destroyed Mom. You ruined what should have been a perfect day. And for what? For a woman half your age, who doesn't even have the decency to respect someone's wedding. It's not like that. I don't care what it's like. I don't care about your feelings or your explanations or your midlife crisis. I care that you betrayed our entire family and thought you could do it at my wedding. That's not forgivable." He left after that. I saw him sitting alone at his assigned table during dinner, not eating, looking miserable. Good. Vanessa, incredibly, had the audacity to send me a text during the reception. "I'm sorry about how things went down. I hope you can understand that your father and I are in love, and sometimes love means making hard choices. I wish you and James all the happiness we'll soon have." I blocked her number without responding. James wanted to drive to wherever she was and confront her, but I talked him out of it. The reception itself was lovely, all things considered. We decided not to do a father-daughter dance, obviously. Instead, Eric and I did a sibling dance that had everyone crying, In a good way. For once. Mom gave a toast that was graceful and loving and didn't mention Dad once, which was its own kind of statement. I danced with my new husband. I laughed with my friends. I ate cake and drank champagne and tried to focus on the good parts. But the whole time there was this heaviness. This awareness that my family had broken open and nothing would ever be the same. Around 10 p.m., Dad left. He didn't say goodbye to anyone. Just slipped out. I saw Mom watching him go, her face unreadable. After the reception ended, Mom came to say goodbye before James and I left for our hotel. "I'm proud of you," she said, "for not canceling, for standing up to him, for marrying a good man despite your father's terrible example. Are you going to be okay?" "Eventually. Right now, I need to figure out what 32 years of marriage looks like when it ends. But that's my problem, not yours. You focus on your honeymoon and your new husband. I'll be fine." She hugged me tight. "I love you, Emma. And I'm sorry your father is who he is." "I love you too, Mom." James and I drove to the hotel. We should have been giddy, excited, celebrating. Instead, we just held each other and processed the absolute insanity of the day. And now it's 4 a.m. and I can't sleep because my brain won't stop replaying everything. The look on Mom's face, the audacity of Vanessa, the cowardice of my father, the way my perfect day turned into a nightmare because my dad couldn't keep it in his pants. I keep thinking about all the signs I missed. Dad being distant, the colleague he wanted to bring, Aunt Linda seeing them together. I could have prevented this. I could have uninvited Vanessa or confronted Dad beforehand or warned Mom. But I was so focused on having a perfect wedding that I ignored reality. James says it's not my fault. That Dad and Vanessa made their choices and I'm not responsible for either of them. Intellectually, I know he's right. Emotionally, I feel like I should have done something. I also keep wondering what happens now. Does Dad move in with Vanessa? Does Mom file for divorce immediately? What about family holidays? My brother's medical school graduation? Future grandchildren? How do we navigate a family that's been blown apart? And selfishly, I'm furious that I don't get to look back on my wedding day with pure joy. Every memory is going to be tainted by what happened. When I see photos of the ceremony, I'll remember what preceded it. When I think about my reception, I'll remember my dad sitting alone because he destroyed his family. People keep saying I should feel lucky that we still had the wedding, that we didn't cancel, that we pushed through. And I guess I am. But I also feel cheated. I feel like my dad stole something from me that I can never get back. I don't know when I'll talk to him again. Part of me wants to cut him off completely. Part of me knows he's still my father and eventually I'll have to deal with that relationship. But right now I'm too angry, too hurt, too disgusted by his choices. Mom texted me an hour ago. She can't sleep either. Apparently, thank you for being strong today. I couldn't have gotten through it without you. Go enjoy your honeymoon. Your father and I will handle our mess. I love you. I love her too. She deserves so much better than this. James is stirring. He'll wake up soon and ask how I'm doing. I'll say I'm fine. We'll try to salvage this honeymoon and make some good memories to balance out the bad. We'll come home and deal with the fallout. But right now, at 4 a.m. in a hotel room I should be celebrating in, all I can think is, fuck you, Dad. Fuck you for cheating. Fuck you for being a coward. Fuck you for using my wedding as your divorce announcement. Fuck you for breaking Mom's heart. And fuck you for taking away my perfect day. I got married yesterday. It should have been the happiest day of my life. Instead, it's the day I lost respect for my father and watched my family fall apart. Some wedding gift. Thanks for reading. I needed to get this out.